Welcome to Very Honored Frater BT's Esoterinerd podcast. Episode 50! Thank you, Joshua. Now tell the men, keep nothing for themselves this time. Anyway, in this episode we will be interviewing Emily A. Cox, a professional psychic in Burlington, Vermont. I knew I was going to say that. And I'm happy to say that when I say we will be interviewing her, I am no longer using the royal we. I mean we, Joe Shantz and I, will be interviewing her. But first... Corrections Department. As you may already know, my background is in traditional Golden Dawn. Many of the guests that have come on this podcast are also traditional Golden Dawn, though it is not by any means a traditional Golden Dawn podcast, and there have been people from a Thelemic background who've come on here as well, in mutual respect and fraternity. However, since that is my background, then I must fully admit that I may share in common remnants of a group cognitive bias, in which things that are said about Aleister Crowley in a very positive light tend to be assumed to be untrue or biased, and things that come up about Crowley in a negative light tend to automatically be added to the list of things that you can say about Crowley in a negative light. My mercurial aspiration in creating this podcast, and indeed every time I speak, is toward truth. And so I must say thank you to Phoenix Suvius for writing to me when he heard such misinformation. For example, there was one point in my conversation with Poke Runyon in episode 20, in which Poke had stated,
Crowley, as far as Crowley was concerned, and a lot of women in the OTO do not realize this, and the OTO doesn't encourage them to find out about it, but Crowley had absolute contempt for women. And he thought that he believed that they didn't even have souls.
Wow.
Yeah, he was just completely contemptuous of them.
And so yesterday, Phoenix Suvius, who we interviewed in episode 8, stated, "The way I understand it is that Crowley's 'women have no soul' reference is one of innumerable in-jokes, referencing the teaching that the male consciousness resonates with Hadit, and the female with Nuit, infinite space, who is called no thing. It's an understanding that the woman is spiritually one with the infinite, and in turn she is seen as having, quote-unquote, no soul." Phoenix further states, Crowley was human and had his faults, but I think that this quote reflects his philosophical stance on women in her place. Quote, "We of Thelema say that every man and every woman is a star. We do not fool and flatter women. We do not despise and abuse them. To us, a woman is herself, absolute, original, independent, free, self-justified, exactly as a man is. We dare not thwart her going, goddess she. We arrogate no right upon her will. We claim not to deflect her development, to dispose of her desires, or to determine her destiny. She is her own sole arbiter. We do not want her as a slave. We do not want her free and royal. Whether her love fight death in our arms by night, or her loyalty ride by day beside us in the charge of the battle of life." End quote. Aleister Crowley. With all of that having been said, for today's Corrections Department segment, I retract my statement that Aleister Crowley was a chauvinist.
In the divine name, I invoke thee.
Let's bring in our co-host, Joe Shantz.
Hello.
It's been forever.
I know, absolutely forever.
The sun went around the world like twice.
Yeah.
I mean, the sun is so big, and that distance across the sky.
Well, I've been actually waiting by the window, like crying, like waiting for this to happen again. So, I'm glad I could take my, finally dry my eyes.
Oh, good. Well, it's good to have you back, and
We're having a psychic on today.
yeah.
So it's interesting having a professional psychic on, because I think that your audience, in particular, probably has at least some affinity with psychic phenomena, or things that they've experienced, or things that they've played with or developed. So I'm really interested to kind of dive in. It's probably going to be a different experience for her, this particular podcast, versus other things that she's been on.
Right. We're probably going to mercurially try to dissect her Piscean nature. I mean, I don't know if she's a Pisces. I just mean, being psychic. She's going to be saying, okay, I'm getting kind of this. And we're going to be saying, now, what exactly is this mechanism?
Yeah. Being esoterinerds, we kind of do end up going there.
Yeah. Are you looking in Asaya or Yetzira, or is this a Akashic record, or is this past life, or?
Yeah, well, I'm also really interested too, because I think, I've met a lot of people, over the years, who I think got into, some kind of mystical path or whatever. And I think that they, because they were sensitive to phenomena, as kids, or some, they had some kind of experiences. And I think that it feels like a lot of people had to learn to kind of shut that down, or turn it on and turn it off at some point. And I think that I'm really kind of curious, someone who's a professional psychic, does she have those kinds of mechanisms too? Or, because at some point, you can't be like turned on all the time, I would think, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she's like turned on all the time, and would love to just understand that experience.
I'm vaguely recollecting, and I don't know exactly what I'm recollecting, something about two people, and one of them, it's the two twins from the movie, the Keanu Reeves movie version of Constantine. Do you remember that? Did you ever see that?
I never saw that.
Oh, okay. Well, there were two identical twins, and they were both, girls, identical, and one, they were both psychic, and one of them at a certain point was like in trouble, and so, they thought she was crazy, and then they were like, "What about you? Are you seeing these things too? Do you hear things like your sister does?" And she said, "No, I don't hear anything." My sister used to see auras when she was young. According to my mom, she would see people as being eggs of various colors. And there was a particular time that my mom and my dad, my sister's stepdad, were going through a book of different colored auras. And there was one that was black with red lightning bolts. And that was the aura of the psycho killer. And my sister saw it and said, "I saw that man at the beach."
Nice.
And they were like, "When?" And they realized it was just the three of them. And it was when she was off playing by herself, there was apparently some ghost that came along that had the aura of a serial killer. And then they were teaching her how to control her dreams, go to Hawaii when it gets scary. You have control of your, I was really grateful to have that kind of upbringing. When I go in and say I have a nightmare, rather than just saying, "Oh, well, it was only a dream," they'd give me methods. This is how to deal with monsters.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how these things seem to run in families. My mom was, she would never admit this, but I think she was really deeply psychic, and she would pick up on really interesting things. And I always, I always got in trouble. I could never hide anything from my mom. It just wasn't going to happen growing up. I think that. I'm interested in that, and I'm kind of interested in the phenomena of like brothers and sisters kind of connecting. I know, it's these things are kind of interesting how they manifest too, because my sister and I were doing things like playing with mirrors when we were at our grandparents' house, and like practicing like sending and receiving thoughts and things like that. And I don't even know where we got that from, because we didn't have. We certainly didn't have sort of your background.
Right.
We were just kind of making this stuff up, or we thought we were making it up. And it's just kind of interesting how it all kind of works together.
Yeah, indeed. Huh. I wonder if there was a show or something like that was on.
Who knows? I think I was like, I don't know, I was like 6 years old or 7 years old, and we would do that kind of stuff till I don't know, it was about 10 or 11. And the sad thing is too is that I actually learned kind of on my own how to do lucid dreaming when I was like 12, 13. And then I was kind of like, well, I'm kind of bored with this because I'm really lucid. I didn't have the vocabulary for it, but it's like I can control my dreams, but now what do I do? And
Right.
so I just then let it go.
I
And
had
which,
that problem too. I'd be like,
know.
oh, good. I'm totally in control now. What do I want to do with it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's but you can get those things back. It's annoying when you'd learned it and then you kind of gave it up
Yeah.
to then get it back again.
That makes sense. Yeah. Going flying is always fun.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've had a flying dream. I'm usually in airplanes a lot. Um, I had a really weird dream the other night where I I took an airplane from one backyard to like 3 houses away.
Mhm.
I don't know why I did that. It was really it felt really inefficient, um, but it was kind of fun.
Nice.
I wouldn't do it in real life though. It's not really good for the environment and all that time that you're kind of taxing and just
Yeah.
silly use of fuel.
Okay. She's saying to bring her in. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay. And so, without further ado, let's get to that interview, shall we?
Edward.
Greetings. Welcome to the Esoterinerd podcast.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
And we've got Joe here as well.
Hi,
Hi,
Emily.
Hi, Joe.
How are
So
you?
nice to meet you.
Thank you. You guys too.
So let's see. Where should we start? Let's start at the beginning. Would you mind telling us your name?
Sure. My name's Emily Anne Cox.
Anne. I was wondering what the middle name was.
Yes.
And would you mind, because we're nerds, and I actually don't know the meaning of either of those names. I used to know Anne, but would you mind breaking down just the kind of the background, the meaning of those names?
Of Anne?
Of Emily.
Oh my gosh, that's an interesting question. I think that it's French, and it means the industrious one, or the hard worker, and the successful one when you
Nice.
look it up. Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
I'm not sure what Anne means, but it too is French, and it's spelled Anne.
Okay, let me see. Name origin, Anne.
There's different, there's different ones, but I just had a French friend over, and he said, "No, your name is definitely French, like he's French." So
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna edit out the pauses later. Okay.
okay.
Da da da. Okay.
Oh, I'm already picking up on your energy.
Oh.
Yeah.
It says here, Anne, alternatively spelled Anne, is a form of a Latin female given name Anna. This in turn is a representation of the Hebrew name Hannah, the name of the mother of the prophet Samuel. So the real question is, what's the meaning of Hannah?
Wow. Is that
Name-
Anne?
Hanna. Hanna.
Oh, okay.
So the meaning behind Hannah, or Hannah, it means favor or grace.
Wow, beautiful. I love it.
It's Chet Nun Hey. And Chet is 8, and Nun is 50, and Hey is 5. Did we tell you it was the Esoteric podcast?
Yeah.
Am I
Get-
right?
get a
Am I
little
right? I'm
geeky
just on the fly here.
Geeky and
Yes.
material.
So let's see. 5 plus 8 is 13 plus 50. You're up to 63. Nice. 7 times 9.
Are you doing
Very
astrology?
nice. Oh yeah. I'm breaking your name down. Okay. Where did we go? Oh yeah, Cox.
See now, okay,
That's
yeah.
COX for those listening who are maybe visualizing the wrong
Okay,
spelling.
can I tell you a secret?
Sure.
Okay, I was adopted, so I mean that's my adoptive name, but I have a real name.
That could be interesting. What's that?
Well, it's Emily Anne, but my last name would be Kotlowski.
Oh.
My grandmother's from Melbourne, Australia. We're Australian and Irish, and
Okay.
yeah, she's yeah. So Kotlowski. She's.
Do you know the origin of that name? I mean, the
I think
meaning.
it's Polish. I think, but no, I don't know what it means.
Here, let's look it up. How do you spell it?
It's Kot
Uh-huh.
Lowski.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Kotlowski.
Surname. Okay.
I am not sure.
Yeah, I love finding out for people. What were you saying about your grandpa?
Oh yeah. I was just gonna say he was a surgeon, a neurosurgeon, brain surgeon, and also
Nice.
yeah. So
Well, and I love these stories because I was adopted by my stepdad, and I think there's a really interesting twist when you born with one name, but then you get another name later on. I think that it's really special.
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
So I've looked at 3 websites, and I'm about to give up because I'm not finding the actual meaning of the name.
Hmm.
Darn it. It's all these websites that, they're trying to get you. It's like clickbait. They say, come find out about the name blank. And then you go there and it's like, we have no information. It's like,
Right.
that's great. Thanks.
Weird. I'm surprised that there's
This one
nothing.
says there's a coat of arms in Poland. So that
Okay. Yeah.
seems like it
We're
might.
Australian, Irish, and Polish, so.
Well, I see your coat of arms. That's cool. Moving along. All right. So now, Joe, as Joe had mentioned earlier, did you always have this gift, or was this something that you developed over time?
I've always had it. I discovered it when I was about 5 years old. So 1989.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And you developed on it and eventually decided to go with it as a career?
Yes, I've always known I wanted to work with people, but yes. Yep.
But that's got to be horrible in junior high when people are so horrible and nasty and things. Like, how did you deal with that gift as a kid? Did you just sort of flick it on and off like a light switch, or what were your coping mechanisms? I'd love to understand that.
Good point. Yeah. I mean, I was adopted, so my family was not open to it at all. My adoptive family. I spent a lot of. I've always had a really strong sense of self or individuality, always self-knowledge. So I to try to cope with that, I would journal. I've been writing since I was 7 years old, and I would spend a lot of time in nature.
Okay.
So yeah, nature and journal and music. Those were like my outlets.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And in Vermont, there's plenty of nature up there, I imagine.
Yes, I moved to Vermont in 2006 for school. I went to Burlington College, and that actually fed my gifts. It helped it, I guess, because I went to school for transpersonal psychology, which is known as fourth generation psychology. So you have third generation humanistic, and then the fourth generation is spiritual psychology, or aka transpersonal psychology. And the people here in the town and the school, they were all really supportive and open to things that growing up, that I had not been exposed to at all. It was
so they teach a course in. I'm completely ignorant about this. Could you give us just a few bullet point breakdown on transpersonal psychology?
Right. So I took courses on astrology, courses on dream analysis, courses on archetypes, holotropic breathwork, meditation. So it was integrative psychology for my undergrad. So I had to study.
That's so cool.
Yeah. A private school, very special.
We did that too, but unfortunately, it wasn't an accredited college.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't even get a piece of paper out of it.
That's
I think we got a piece of paper.
Yeah, but nobody cares. They're like, who is this that signed it? We're like, never mind.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, very cool. Now, what was the name of that school again?
Sure. It was Burlington College in Burlington, Vermont, out here in the Northeast.
Cool. Well, I'm sure there might be 1 or 2 people that are, writing that down right now and going, okay, I'm putting that on the list.
Yeah, I had I'm actually from Indiana. Southern Indiana. I spent 22 years there. I grew up in Indiana. But yeah, coming out to Vermont, like before I went to Burlington College, I had applied at several schools that seemed to spark my interest. And some of those other schools, Naropa University in Boulder, Colorado, was another one. Also, California Institute of Integral Studies in San Francisco. There's also Saybrook University. All of these schools are all similar, humanistic, transpersonal. There's another school, I can't remember the name. It's in Georgia. There's a humanistic school there.
There's Athens.
Jungian psychology in Southern California. There's also Sophia University in in Palo Alto. So all of these schools are along similar thought. It's yeah.
Very interesting.
So I looked into all that.
So how does your practice work? Do you kind of position yourself as a healer? Do you position yourself as a psychic, and then you kind of lead people into like a therapeutic modality, or how does that work for you?
Very interesting. I'm a lot of different things. I'm a teacher, not like literally but spiritual teacher. I'm counselor. I'm clairvoyant, so I see things. Clairaudient, clairsentient. I smell, taste. The whole. I have premonitions. Um, I use pendulum. This does yes or no questions.
Mm-hmm.
My pendulum.
Mm-hmm.
It also
Yep.
does time frames. It can locate lost objects as well. If you lose your wallet, I can also tell you if you're going to have children and how many children. It tells you if they're a boy or a girl. It does pregnant. I can do pregnancy if you're pregnant. So that the pendulum is one of the tools I use. The other tool I use is tarot cards. I've been reading tarot since 1996.
Nice.
I work online. I work on oranum.com. And I set my own prices on there, and I set my own hours. And I'm fully self-employed. I'm completely independent. I'm a full-time professional psychic, and my second, I would say, career is a health and wellness coach, because I had chronic stage 3 fibromyalgia, Lyme disease, and fibromyalgia, and
wow.
I cured it completely with treating it holistically using something called MMS, Miracle Mineral Solution. So I do consultations on, I'm not a doctor, but I do consultations on health and wellness with those that have Lyme and then fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, stuff like that. On the side, but yeah, I'm a full-time psychic on Oranum. I work 35, 40 hours a week on there, and then I also have clients off-site as well. Yeah.
Well, so you mentioned tarot. So
Yes.
what deck do you tend to use? What's your favorite deck?
Oh, absolutely. So I've had probably 100 decks. I've literally given away all those decks except for two. I prefer the classic Rider-Waite just because it's classic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I learned on that one too. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, I've
me
had
especially.
all kinds of decks, but I like giving the credibility to the author, the original. It's the Rider-Waite. I can also teach people with it, so I teach tarot classes as well.
Nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, the Rider-Waite deck is definitely my kind of go-to. Although I do really enjoy really strange decks. I love there was a Hello Kitty tarot deck that
Yeah,
just
briefly.
was so fun.
And they got
I
sued.
love that.
Yeah.
Sanrio.
Oh
wasn't
no,
happy.
they got sued.
Yeah, they got.
Oh, that's
they got
horrible.
Taken down. So now people talk about, they're telling Ben Mackey, well, we hope it doesn't go the way of the Hello Kitty tarot. He's the one
That
doing
is
the Twin
funny.
Peaks tarot.
Yeah, tarot is a really cool thing, honestly.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm probably gonna eventually, I'm also an artist, completely natural artist, so I'm probably gonna eventually write my own, or I should say illustrate my own tarot, like create my own tarot deck. Right now I'm working on a book. Actually, I'm writing 5 books currently simultaneously.
Nice. I know. I've tried.
Emily, could you step it up a little bit and be a little bit more ambitious?
You're being sarcastic, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
me-
I take after my grandma in Melbourne, Australia. Elizabeth Rogers Kotlowski. Yeah, she has 5 books. She's an author, speaker. Anyways, yeah. So one of my books is tarot. It's the psychological meanings behind tarot. It breaks it down, the different meanings. What each card means for travel, love, work. I mean, it's very. Yeah, it's in depth. It's simple, but it's in depth. My book, one of my books.
Sounds good. What are the other 4?
So another one is Lyme disease and my journey, how I healed the Lyme disease. The whole it's very spiritual. The whole process with having contracted Lyme disease from a tick out in the Northeast. Yep.
Do you know Kathleen Hanna at all? Do you know who she is?
No.
Yeah, she's really outspoken about Lyme disease. She was the lead singer of a band called Bikini Kill, which was feminist punk rock.
Okay.
Back in the early 90s, and then she became the lead singer of La Tigra. But in the meantime, she contracted Lyme disease, and she didn't become rich and famous till much later on. And at that time, they only had, I forget which test that they did, but they put her, so she contracted it. They put her on like a crappy course of antibiotics. And then later on, she got really, really, really sick. And, doctors were kind of like, oh, you're just imagining it. And finally, she found a really good one. But like the process for healing is really, really tough. So, more power to you that you got through that. But she's really
sick. Yeah.
Interesting. Take a look at her.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it was a tough illness to fight. I think it's spiritual though, and I think that there's a blessing in everything, and there was a blessing in it, and yep. So I'm writing about it. I'm writing about my experience. I went through all that with the the Center for Disease Control, all the testing, IGeneX. I highly recommend that lab out in Palo Alto, California. It's a private facility. Tests 188, 189, the IgG, IgM, Western blot. Great. So I do diet, I do nutrition. I'm huge into superfoods, staying healthy, being healthy, David Wolf, all of that stuff.
So that's 2 books. So the third one?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the third one is a memoir, personal memoir.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fourth one, this is huge, and they're not in any order, but is it's about the masks that we wear and peeling back the layers of the onion or the mask to discover our authentic core. And it's about the journey to self-reclamation, authenticity. So how to discover yourself. It's about the walls that we build, the self-limiting beliefs that we learn, the subconscious, breaking into that, consciousness essentially. And getting to the core of who we are, our purpose, our passion, living our passion. Section 3 of my book is all about living your passion. I had a spiritual awakening. It started in 2006. I had what's called a Kundalini awakening. And then in 2007, I went through what's called a dark night of the soul. And that lasted a few months. And then it went into what Stanley Groff out in California would talk as a spiritual emergence. He's an author as well. And after the spiritual emergence, I had some shamanistic stuff. I'm also a shaman. And I had some shamanistic stuff going on. I ended up having a near-death experience. It changed my life, and I started writing. That's where I got the inspiration for my first book.
Was that ayahuasca?
I'm sorry. What's that? Ayahuasca.
Oh yeah, the shamans in Peru they mix together different plants containing dimethyltryptamine.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The near-death experience.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like that, but no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had a full-blown spiritual awakening. My book is all. I mean, it talks all about that and consciousness. Yeah.
So is that the 5th book, or is that just the 4th?
That is the 4th book. The 5th one is a tribute to my father, and he's passed. Nice. My adoptive father's passed away, and that was what he went through. It's a very, very personal book. It involves addictions, like sex addiction, not my father, but my mother that he was married to, and what he went through, the trials and tribulations. So it's for partners of sex addicts, like and how to heal, and just it's a very touching. It's about addictions in general, like kind of sort of thing, but it specializes in the sex and love addiction piece. There.
So a couple that's trying to stay together even though one of them is compulsively cheating?
Yes.
That's rough.
Yeah, the whole process of all of that. So that's one of the books. And then it's hope for partners, partners of addicts in that sense.
Yeah.
Intimacy disorder, intimacy addiction. It's very common.
Yeah, I had a situation growing up where my mom's third husband, my stepdad, by the time they were divorced, he had been with 7 other women, including someone at the sex addict recovery place that he stayed at. Yeah.
Right.
So
that's probably really common.
It's very, very common. Yes. So that's a tribute to my father.
That sounds beautiful. It sounds like quite a body of work you've got going.
Yes, I'm simultaneously working on all of these books. I lead a pretty I don't want to say rigid, a pretty structured life. Again, I set my own rates. I set my own hours. I work full time. I have a mission. I have a vision. My mission is to provide for myself, my family, and community. And I see the community as extended family. I really love people. I've loved all my life. I've wanted to work with people, and yeah, my vision is to provide to create educational and financial opportunity for those who aspire to lead better lives for themselves and their families. So everything I do in my entire life is orchestrated towards the mission and vision. I've been through a lot. I've gone through a lot. I'm also studying the law of attraction. I believe I'm fully behind that. The Secret. I have all the books. I meditate.
Okay, so Emily,
Go ahead.
I've got to ask you a question.
Yes.
So when you're doing a reading, and let's say it's a tarot reading,
Okay.
and you're looking at this poor soul, and you pull up the Nine of Swords, the Ten of Swords, and Tower. You know,
An accident.
So are you, you know, do you kind of say, oh, you know, honey, life is going to be a little tingly for a while? Or do you just say, you know, honey, like, you need to, like, get some life insurance now. Stay home.
If you read my testimonials, okay, I have testimonials on both my Facebook and my main site and my Orinum, and I'm very direct. I don't sugarcoat anything. I laugh. I kind of attribute that to being, I'm an Aries, Aries Pisces, but yeah, I'm very to the point.
Yeah. In the intro, you'll hear I referred to you as a Pisces.
Yeah, I'm an Aries. I'm actually, I
was close.
Yeah. Yes.
Because we were talking about how we're both these esoteric nerds that are going to want to like dissect the psychic phenomena that can't be really described in words.
Exactly.
Be like, now what exactly are you in the world of Yetzira? Or, you know, we've got all these different terminologies from different systems.
Yeah, I'm an Aries with a Pisces cusp, but I'm a triple fire. I have a Sagittarius rising and a Sagittarius moon, so triple fire. I also have triple Scorpio and triple Sagittarius in the chart.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm using the image of you making the fire triangle with your hands.
I do that all the time.
The triangle of manifestation.
That is so fun. I've been doing that since like I was little. I never knew that, but yeah, just naturally.
That's fun. We should send her a link to Dion Fortune's Psychic Self-Defense, not to take seriously, but just to be amused by our ancestors.
Absolutely.
You know, and that they do that, and they put it up to their forehead and project a pentagram out toward their enemies and stuff like that. It's a fun read.
That's funny.
It is. You know, it's funny that they talk about things like enemies in that way, whereas you know, you think about psychic self-defense, and I think that, you know, these days it's more about like just psychic self-defense from your own TV, of like all the you know, the fear that people, you know, trying to generate ratings. So figuring out any way to sort of banish that, it's you know,
Donald Trump, big banishing pentagram.
Oh boy, yeah, I've just, my mind's thinking of a whole bunch of stuff like consciousness and narcissism. I that's another thing I get a lot. I have a pretty huge YouTube channel, and I have a lot of people that come to me about narcissism, and they've grown up with narcissistic families or parents that are narcissistic partners, and I feel like that's ego. That's the darkness. It's
the closest thing we have to a psychological term for evil is malignant narcissism.
Yes. So my book, oh my God, my book about the masks, it involves that. Like, it's all about I involve that, photographs. It's extremely visual, my book. But
interesting.
Yeah, it depicts all that. It shines a light on the false self. It helps people to identify what it looks like, and the layers of narcissism.
Wow. I have another podcast where all of my personalities argue amongst themselves.
That's funny.
I'll send you a link. It's kind of amusing.
Yeah, please.
Cool. Well, how can people find you? You mentioned you had a YouTube channel. Is there like a particular key phrase that we can...
The best way to reach me, honestly, I prefer people add me on Facebook, and they need to send a personal message, because I don't approve everybody. I mean, so my Facebook is www.facebook.com/Emily Anne with an E Cox. So it's EMILYANNECOX. So that's my Facebook. And then I also have a main website, and it's EmilyACox.com.
Okay. Sounds easy enough.
So people can, check that out. EmilyACox.com. And then I also use Pinterest, and I'm very visual. So I would encourage everybody to visit the Pinterest, which is Pinterest.com, and it's / and it's NOT, the number 2, the letter B as in boy, the word forgot, and the number 10. So it reads, obviously, pinterest.com/not to be forgotten. And that'll show you all of my boards. I have law of attraction, a lot of energy, vibrational stuff, nutrition, wellness, all kinds of stuff on my Pinterest.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, I wanted to make sure before I forget, and Joe, feel free to join in here. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Emily. Happy birthday to you. I'll edit it so it sounds better. Woo!
Oh, thank you so much.
Now, you're 22?
Oh my gosh, no. Everybody thinks I'm 22. No older than 24. I am 32 years old.
32.
I
got the math wrong because I'm not good with numbers. No, I'm pretty good with numbers.
It's okay.
But you said something about 1989.
Okay.
You were 5.
I've been doing psychic readings for 27 years.
So you're 32.
I am 32. Yes, since I was 5 years old.
So this is the year where you'll learn the 32 paths of wisdom of the Tree of Life.
Can I just tell you, if I had a 5-year-old come up to me and give me a psychic reading, I'd run. I'm sorry. That's too creepy.
I've always been old soul. I was like, it's kind of funny. Most of my friends and always dating partners are 45 to 55. Well, actually now it's more like 50 to 57. Like, I mean, I only attract people that are older. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I shouldn't say only, but I'm really drawn and attracted to the 50 groups, like the 50 somethings. Even when I was like little, when I was in elementary school, I was so close to all my teachers and on the same level as my teachers. Like, just, I don't know, you go old soul, I guess. But
I always hung around the adults more than the other kids my age too.
Exactly. So, hey, I'd be willing to do, if either one of you guys, I don't know how much time we have here. It looks like we're 25 minutes in, but...
Oh, yeah, there's time.
Do you guys,
I have time.
Do you want me to do a reading? Like a relation... I mean, I don't know if it's too personal, but maybe a relationship reading for one of you, or... If you...
I don't know. I think we're both kind of stable in our,
I'm good.
Our relationships.
Okay, so that's...
But I'd be interested if you want to do a reading on the future of the Esoterinerd podcast.
Actually, or we could, even going out further than that, like, can you do a reading on like where the election? Like,
yeah,
oh gosh.
Really big.
So I specialize in love and career. I should have told you that.
Okay.
I do general readings, love and career. My readings are all a little different. Like, if I can see you, that's when I can start I'm not with everybody, like, I mean, not right away, but with a lot of people I can start channeling when I visually can see you. But I can do readings energetically with cards, but I always do love, general, or career. So I don't do...
I could take a general reading if you'd like.
A general reading. Yeah, that's interesting. All right. Sure, absolutely. Okay, so what
I'll do one too. I'll do one too after you.
Okay, well, hang on. Actually, so it's 5 o'clock right now. Let's see. We have 30. Okay, yeah, it takes like 20 minutes for me to do a reading. So is that too long?
Do Edward.
Okay.
Just me? Or are you sure?
Okay. Edward, gotcha.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, Edward, tell me when to stop shuffling.
Okay.
Just say stop.
Stop.
Okay. All right. Now remember, this is a tarot card reading. I do other types of psychic readings. I also use a pendulum. That's a whole different thing. Like I said, it does pregnancy. Obviously, you're not pregnant, but it's like, We
don't know. We don't know that. You should probably check the pendulum.
Is this Celtic crossbred?
It is, yes. Now,
Cool.
I usually type also. I'm wondering if there's a way that I can type. Yeah, I can. Awesome. Do you mind if while we're talking, it slows my mind down? I'm used to working online, so I'm used to typing and speaking. Is that okay with you guys?
Sure.
Okay, so position 1 for you is the present, the heart of the matter, and the basis of the reading. So position 1 is the present, the heart of the matter, and the basis of the reading. And I drew the 9 of Wands, which shows defensiveness, closed-offness, hurt, agitation. There is an obstacle for you. Are you still hearing me type?
Yeah. Oh, a little, but it's okay.
Okay. So there's an obstacle for you, and I type because it helps slow me down. I get that you need to persevere. So there's a challenge. It's daunting, whatever it is. This is again the present, the heart of the matter, and the basis of the reading. I don't know if it's something that you want to do, but there's some kind of challenge, and I get you can do it. Just be persistent, persevere.
Okay.
This is the one last challenge for you, and it would be easier. I mean, I wish that I could show you the cards. Obviously, we're not on cam. When I work with clients, I mean, I do both. Sometimes I have I always take pictures of the cards either way if I can't cam with them, and I will send them like the iPhone, Facebook. I do Facebook sessions, Skype sessions. I'm very flexible. But yeah, so that's what I get for you, and I get that this challenge involves. Let's see, position number 2 is the challenge, the opposing and or reinforcing forcing factor for you. Note, this is both what you desire and or what equally presents a challenge. And I drew the 3 of Wands, which deals with the future and vision and success and confidence. So what that's telling me is that you want to have that and or it's a challenge for you.
Yeah, I don't want to be so defensive. I want to just be successful and not. That's interesting. Yeah, that kind of resonates.
Yeah. So yep, the first card is there's inferiority there, and that's okay. I hope this goes on the radio. I hope that. Are you gonna?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll put it
cool.
up.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's what I see there. So I see it as both a reinforcer and a challenge. For some people, it's just a reinforcer. For others, it's just a challenge. So position number 3 is the subconscious, what's beneath the surface, and your underlying feelings. And I get the Page of Wands, which is the start of something new, excitement, refreshment, refreshing, possibility.
Yeah.
New projects. So this is what's beneath the surface. Is you want that excitement, that bubble, that right.
That's interesting. So far, 3 wands,
new
3
journey.
wand cards.
Yes, you do.
Very interesting.
Right. Wands represent ideas.
And penises.
They do on the. How do you say that?
They do.
Ballot? Yeah. That is so. I always say that, especially the Ace of Wands is like the big sex card.
Yeah, it kind of
Right, and it represents, for those of you who toke, I don't toke, but it represents the Chiba, the Diganji.
I never heard that. That's really interesting. I love that.
Yes.
Wait, what are we talking about? Oh, sorry.
Position 4 is the recent past, Edward.
Oh, yeah.
And or a quality that needs to be let go of. And I drew the 2 of Pentacles, which shows some, on an emotional level, insecurity, but it also shows imbalance or juggling projects or juggling 2 or more things, feeling kind of spread too thin. Yeah. So
that's an old habit. Yeah, that's true.
Yes, that's what I'm getting for your recent past and or a quality that needs to be let go of.
Oh, I'd love to. That'd be nice.
Yes.
I fantasize about a life where I wake up and have a really simple breakfast and then do yoga and meditate. But the reality is that I wake up, listen to a podcast, hang out with Janie, drive her to school, come back, make a podcast, and then maybe ride my bike and then come back. And then at some point I'll be like, okay, got to do yoga. But yeah, it's true. I do. Oh. I mean, originally when I was starting with the practice, I was imagining a much simpler existence, with just peace of mind. But yeah, I do tend to clutter things up.
Hey, I'm hearing be gentle with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Position number 4 is I'm sorry, not 4, 5 is the conscience. Hold on a second. The conscience, what you are actively thinking about and focused on. And I drew the 4 of Cups, meaning dissatisfied currently, bored, stagnant, feeling like you are understimulated, just stunted. I mean, it shows static energy, like you could be doing more. You want more. It's seeing the glass half empty.
Maybe.
Half
empty. I suppose.
Right.
I mean, in the overall context with everything else, it kind of ties into the perseverance and the sense of wanting something new and, kind of at the same time having something new because I mean,
Yeah.
if you start listening to the podcast, the picture will gradually become clear, and then you'll be able to hear your reading as the cap at the end, and
Right.
and see the overall picture. But yeah, where I came from, I was basically spread way too thin.
I get
And,
that you're feeling stuck right now. I mean, this card is number 5, and it's
Well, he's
above card
actually,
number.
here's the issue. He's stuck with this co-host that is just dreadful, and he's really got to learn to let it go. Like that's what I'm getting.
Yes.
Oh, well, I guess as far as seeing the glass half empty, I am kind of constantly fixated on mortality and
gosh.
just kind of the void and how even my lasting memory will one day be forgotten and dried to dust. And that is kind of my main focus all the time. Sort of like in a Buddhist sense, but I don't know if it's seeing the glass as half empty or completely empty.
Yeah,
It's like
but
it's a feeling
what
stuck.
I love? But
Yeah,
but I love the construct of the 3 different Buddhas where you have like, and there are many constructs of different 3 Buddhas, but one that I love is like you've got wrathful Buddha, peaceful Buddha, and happy Buddha, and everyone wants to party with happy Buddha,
Right.
and then they're like, because it's sort of like, well, which Buddha do you want to be with? And everyone wants to party, but then like when you're really in trouble, happy Buddha will just sit there and say, you're cutting yourself right now, and you're perfect just the way you are. And it's wrathful Buddha's like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? I keep telling you to center yourself, but you don't do it because you're so stupid. And like that's the one that you kind of want to be with.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, all right. So position number 6 is the near future for you, and I drew the 5 of Swords. Yikes. Note, this is the next.
This is why I don't go in for tarot readings.
4 to 6 weeks. Oh man, someone is going to backstab you. This is a negative.
It's
energy.
me, Edward.
Oh my God. It's a negative energy, a darker force. So somebody who you trust is going to backstab you. This card is saying the advice is watch your back.
All right.
That's right, Edward. Watch your back,
energies.
baby. I got my swords drawn.
Okay, position 7, how you see yourself.
Well, here's the deal, Emily. Like, I get paid like a lot of money to be on this podcast. I'm the talent, and like I'm looking for other deals, and Edward's just got to deal with that.
I don't honestly. I'm new to this whole. I am new to you guys. I had two. I don't know what you'd call it, 2 other interview things or whatever this is called. 2 other radio in California. I had a female and then a guy, and they 2 had I guess. I don't podcasts out in Cali, and they found me on YouTube and both called me and, hey, can I have you on our radio station? So I don't know. I'm new to this, though. I don't really know much about it. I would like to be in radio somehow. So.
Well, we're really strange, and I hope you don't. I hope your experience is good here. We kid around a lot. We know each other for a while. So.
Yeah, you feel very dynamic to me. You feel very fluid. Are you the one on the right in the picture here with the black jacket?
Oh, okay.
Picture?
Yeah, I guess so. I didn't know I had a picture.
Oh, yeah.
You're the one with the red hair and the short red hair?
Yes.
Yeah, you feel dynamic. You feel very people-oriented to me. I would say I study the Enneagram and the Myers-Briggs. I'm a consultant, a Myers-Briggs consultant. And you feel like an Enneagram type 2 to me, the helper.
Wait, so what would you say? Oh, okay, so sorry, Edward, we're taking like your reading where you get the backstabbing going on, which
I'm just sitting here, paranoid.
Okay, so what would you guess that I am? What would you for Myers-Briggs? What would you guess that I am?
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. I mean,
we could actually go through one by one. So introvert or extrovert?
Okay. Are you an extrovert?
Oh no, very much introvert.
Okay, hold on. Wait, are you the one with a black jacket?
Yeah.
Okay. Your picture's it's literally teeny.
I think right now he's an extrovert.
Well,
okay,
I have to morph to do this, but like where I get my energy is really kind of like being on my own and reading books and just not talking.
Okay, are you an INFP?
I'm an ISTJ actually.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Okay, I had no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's hard to I don't know how psychically you would kind of see that, because there are things that like you do when you're in this particular kind of forum where you have to be. You have to be extroverted. You have to be intuitive.
I could see the thinking side to you. I could hear it. It's the energy. I can sense it. I can sense it off your tongue. Like, I guess the T. Now I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But it's hard, like when you're in this particular scenario, you kind of have to morph a little bit. But
Okay.
like my
Right?
comfort level, like and Myers-Briggs ultimately kind of is about more that comfort level.
Uh-huh.
Like that I live in ISTJ. I love that space. But
Okay.
this is fun too, and it's fun to kind of like get out of like your comfort zone and do something
Right.
like this.
I was when I would take the test at work, I was an introvert,
Uh-huh.
and when I would take the test at home, I was an extrovert.
Yeah,
I would just
Oh,
answer differently.
okay.
the EI tends the introvert extrovert thing tends to be more fluid than like a like TJ. I've always tested TJ. S and N, like it's been different. Like to your point, like when I
Now,
do.
some of our listeners might not be all that
Oh,
familiar.
sorry.
What do all these?
Yeah.
Oh, no, no, it's okay. What does all this stand for? Introvert, extrovert. That's I and E, right?
So
Yeah.
you've got
Then
intuitive and sensory, and sensory is more like do
taste.
you like
Yeah.
data and science versus are you intuitive and feeling kind of thing.
Okay.
And what do you think? Well, you're the
Abs-
expert. Why don't you take us home?
Well, I mean, it's nice listening to you too. Yeah, I would say the same thing. Sensors are touch, taste, see, feel. You know, you ask a sensor what time is it, and they tell you it's 3:17. Whereas an intuitive, they're more abstract and conceptual. So an intuitive would be like, oh, it's a little after three. Like, I mean, generally,
Yeah.
it's just,
Hmm.
yeah. Intuitives are into astrology and things you can't see, soulmates and twin flames and what else? Whereas I would say sensors are more into like the news. I mean, I'm just trying to think. News, what else? Fashion,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know. Like
Uh, yeah, and
tactile,
then you've got thinking
contrast.
versus feeling. Wait.
Um,
Yeah, thinking versus feeling,
And we all
and
think
that's
and feel. I mean, each of us have thinking. I mean, we all
right,
think and feel. It's which one's dominant. So, do you
right,
use logic?
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it because so part of it comes down to like how do you make decisions? Like, do you use your feelings or do you use like data and facts? So, like some of
Like
it isn't like well, if you're T, it doesn't mean that you're you have no feelings and you're heartless, and
exactly.
vice versa.
Yeah, there was one example I read that if you're on a boat, like say you're in the military or something and you're on a boat and then you have to sacrifice a guy, right? Let's say for whatever reason the boat's sinking. I don't know, you have to sacrifice a guy. A thinker would, like a feeler would be like, "Okay, wait. Oh my God, I love Johnny so much. Oh my God, like Keith, oh, I don't know if I could, the feeler would be terrible. The boat would sink. I mean, it just wouldn't, whereas a thinker, right away, they know. They can size people up. They know exactly which man to sacrifice for
that's
whatever.
the same test for a psychopath.
Yeah,
Really?
So
Uh,
based on this, a
yeah. You
thinker
know
is a
that those
psychopath.
eggs. So we were talking about like different aura eggs before. I'm like the
Oh,
black guy
right.
with the red lightning bolts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
wow.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool though. Very neat.
We're
Yeah.
scaring Emily. Emily's gonna be like, I'm never coming back here. We're done.
So, okay, what happens after after the person I trust betrays me,
Oh God.
and I have some strife?
Card number 7 is how you see yourself in the situation. I actually drew the devil. It's a major arcana card and it means struggle.
Hmm.
It means oppression. It's again, you're surrounded. There's some kind of darker, either you've got some kind of, I don't know. I mean, don't say this out loud, but either there's some kind of addiction or there's negativity around you, either negative thinking, either you're negative thinking, there's somebody around you negative thinking or addictions, but it's toxic. It's heavy.
Huh.
Yeah,
All right.
with how you
It's
see
me
yourself.
again.
So you're struggling with something. That's all I can say. And
It's
that's
my face on that dude with on the pedestal.
All right.
funny. Yeah, so anyway, the MBTI, I love it. So you're an ISTJ, very nice. I think that's the architect. I mean, there's different nicknames or the scientist, the ISTJ. I
Yeah.
mean, there's all different nicknames for that. Can you guys guess my type?
Okay, I'm gonna say INFP.
Not at all. Oh my gosh.
Really?
No, I'm an
Really?
extrovert.
Okay.
So, first of all, yeah, I'm an extrovert, and then I am a strong intuitive, so that's right. I'm like
Okay.
really, and sometimes, I mean, I think I'm a moderate extrovert. I used to test I like introvert or extrovert, but I've been
Yeah.
extrovert for like 5 years.
Okay.
So yeah, and then I'm a T, but I'm moderate T,
Okay.
and then a strong J, actually. people, I think it's because of the open-minded, they always think P, like the spiritual focus. They're like, Emily, are you P? I'm like, no, I'm a strong J.
Yeah, but you know where I was getting the P from? I was getting the P because like perceivers are, so it's either perceivers or judgers, and perceivers tend to like think about options and alternatives, and I would just think that like being a reader and thinking about, okay, which modality am I going to use, or like
Oh God,
whatever,
that would
like
drive me nuts. I know what you mean by the P's. The
yeah,
P readers, they're totally different. Like I'm very structured in my readings and I'm
okay,
fast. I am notoriously like Orinum knows me. I'm extremely I'm direct like an ENTJ and I'm extremely fast and efficient. So very structured. So they come into my room, they pay by the minute. I mean, again, there's two different ways. They could pay on my website. Like I have my EmilyACox.com, or there's
hmm
Orinum, which is by the minute, and I work on there. So, but I'm very fast. They pay by the minute and they like it because I'm fast. I don't just chat. I don't like sometimes the P's will go in circles or start telling
yeah,
stories and yeah, the P types. Uh
no, it's great.
yeah, yeah. So there's that. And I don't know, the whole thing is interesting. I grew up with all feelers. So yeah, I'm interested in the the nature versus nurture thing on all aspects. So, yeah, it's interesting. I grew up with a bunch of sensors, actually. My adoptive family, I'm strong intuitive, they're strong sensor like yourself. So, yeah,
Okay,
I was
Ed, I've got some bad news for you.
Hmm.
what?
So we're off topic because she's drawn the Nine of Swords, the Ten of Swords, and Tower next.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Okay, go back on topic. All right. Ask me questions, guys. I don't know.
What's the eighth card?
I put away the cards. I mean, I didn't put away. I pulled your cards out. I put them back. I'm going to leave it at that for now.
Oh, so he's right.
What?
That the eighth,
She
ninth,
was
and tenth
disturbed
cards
by your
were the
reading. She's like,
nine,
you know what, we're not going to do
nine of
this
swords,
anymore.
ten of swords on the tower.
Like, stop
No,
here. We're not going to
no.
see the 10th card. You know what I know.
So no final outcome. No.
I pulled the cards. We started talking about the Myers-Briggs. I just pulled them. Yeah, I was just like, eh. Yeah, I have to be in the zone. It's like,
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry I pulled you out of the zone.
yeah, we were talking about the Myers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, it's okay.
Okay, so this is a lesson for you if you're ever like working with Emily. Don't bring a friend along, particularly a chatty friend. Do
No,
not bring them
oh
along.
my God, oh my God, the more the better. I'm an extrovert. I love people. OMG. I'm going to a party tonight, 11 artists. I'm so excited. And I'm gonna do readings at the party. Woo!
Oh, fun.
No.
Yes. Yes. So, and I also want to give you guys a sample of another way I do readings. Like, for example,
This one for Joe. You've already done enough damage to me.
You're like, I'm gonna
I
Five
philosophically
Swords down,
differ
bitch.
with the method of fortune telling that you've used, but that's okay. It's
okay,
okay.
so
We got the word out.
so wait, which one of you guys are the one? Who's the one that's in this picture meditating? Is that
Not
Joe or
me.
Ed?
That's Ed.
Okay, so Ed is the meditator, and then Joe, say something.
Something.
So you're Joe. You're the one in the black suit, correct?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
okay. I pick up on your energy very strongly. Yeah, you just seem very dynamic and very people. You've got a good people, at least facade people orientation. That I pick up with you. Are you the New York one?
I am the New Yorker.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Cool. I get the death card for you, and it's not like what you think. It's
Actually, I don't mind that card.
this shows a major change on a transition. It's often
Good.
vocational, like career, but yeah, it's good. It feels good to me.
Yeah, no, it makes sense with I'm with the path that I'm on, and I think that more than anything else, like I really look out for my team. I'm kind of like Mama Bear that way, where I
Yeah.
really look out for my team, and I've been really working hard to get them a lot more recognition for the awesome work that they do. So a lot of it's like really about that and about like really putting them on the stage and being like the really bitchy stage mom.
Yeah.
Uh,
When you say
but like
team, do you
it's
mean
like
this
really
the
making
radio
them.
team?
What's that?
Do you mean this radio team or
No. What I get actually paid for is a totally different thing. Um,
what do you?
but so So I'm a statistician, like go figure. But that's where you get the STJ. Like I work with numbers all day long.
Oh, okay. Wow. Interesting. That's what you're good at. I was gonna say IST. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So it's really just like getting them out in the open and like really helping them advance in what they do and
Hmm.
so I do see that kind of helping to evolve things. That makes
Very,
sense.
very cool. If you're ever in Burlington, Vermont, we should definitely meet.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I imagine it's very Twin Peaks up there.
It's full. This town is full of writers, artists, musicians, chiropractors, healers. Oh my God. I
Odd
mean,
lady.
it's
Nice.
yeah, it's very, very eclectic in this town. This is where I went to college. I also went to Goddard for my master's degree. Goddard, Plainfield, Vermont.
Nice.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Do you guys have any more questions for me or for?
Well, yeah, it looks like we're at about we've got a pretty good sized chunk of audio to
Yeah, let's
use.
use it. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
you said there's like a
Um,
thousand viewers to this. Is this live?
oh, we don't know. There's no
Millions.
way. No, no, no.
Millions and
We're gonna be.
billions. No, I have no idea. It's
I'm gonna be editing it down later for the pauses and
Yeah, yeah.
things like that, making it more tight, and then I'll put it up there probably in a few hours.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Can you email me a copy of it?
Yeah, I'll send you a link,
Okay. Like I said, I don't know very
and it'll
much
be on
about all of
iTunes.
this.
So.
It's really cool. I mean, I'm new to all this.
Nice.
Emily, it was
Absolutely.
so nice meeting you, and like I wish you all the luck in the world on all of your books. I mean, oh my gosh, 5 books. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And
My-
best of luck on your readings and have fun tonight. That's gonna be
Yeah,
fun, like with the party.
guys,
Yeah.
I love
Absolutely.
life. I do. My mission and purpose is I just want to give. I just want to I mean, honestly, like just live my passion and just, make a lot of money so I can create opportunity, educational and financial opportunity for everybody. I really love people. So, if I can get connected or linked up, like I would love to do, psychic parties, like on a cruise or, go to like, even employers, just go to businesses and have a staff party. I like to dress up. I love wearing wigs. I mean, I like to have a good time.
Nice.
Absolutely. So thank you
That's
guys
fun.
very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely,
You
and
were
happy
awesome.
birthday.
Thank you. God bless. You
God
guys,
God
thank
bless.
you.
bless. Bye.
Good night. See ya.
Good night. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, it was interesting. How did you come about her?
She sent me a message on Facebook yesterday at random.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's kind of interesting thinking about how this fits in with your overall thing. I mean it's definitely a very different um kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
um I don't know.
Yeah,
And by the
it's
way, can I just
more.
say, watch your
Yeah.
back. I'm the Five of Swords of the Devil. I loved her story. I thought her story was really interesting. Lovely person, and this is a really good, test for us. I
Yeah,
feel like
to see
some
how that
things went really
goes.
well. I feel like in the playback, my verbalized like trying to get in was not good, and I need to work on that. And I think that that's
Well,
probably
I think you picked up when I didn't know what to say next, and then you'd take it and take it a different way. So that's good. Yeah.
yeah. So that part went well, and I kind of felt that out, and I think it was helpful there. But I felt like there were parts where it was actually really good for me to hear because I probably do it in real life when I'm trying to like come in with something and it's just not my time and I really need to take a back seat. So
I do that too. Yeah. And yeah, podcasting does help with that because you hear yourself and go, "Wow, really?" Like I
yeah,
didn't realize until I recorded the first episode for the Edward Reed podcast, and then when I heard it again, I heard how I say certain, and I'd put a T at the end of certain every time I say it, and I'm like, "Oh my God." So I stopped doing that. I've trained myself to say certain.
yeah, but this was fun, like kind of working together on this, and
Yeah.
I'd love to keep working at it if you, as long as you feel like this is decent and it's a decent approach. And
I think it's great.
Okay, cool.
Janie says she likes the sound of our voices together, that, we have different qualities in our voices, and it's good to kind of go back and forth, right? And I agree. I get tired of hearing my own voice all the time, so.
Well, I'm your Robin Quivers.
When you first said Robin, I was thinking Batman.
Without the boobies.
And tomorrow we've got Scarlet Magdalene.
I know, I'm so excited. And so this actually was a really good kind of trial run before we get into that, because that's going to be, there's so much to talk about. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And she's not going to need a lot of coaching anyway. Like, she could just talk herself the whole time.
Right. Well, anyhow, thank you for co-hosting today, and I look forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, me too.
So that's going to be 6 p.m. my time.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock your time.
Yep.
And we'll talk to you then.
Okay, take care.
All right, have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Thank you, Emily, for being our guest tonight. Thank you, Joe, for being my co-host. Thank you to the monks on Mount Koyasan for the music, to Brian Dahl with the album Golden Dawn LVX. Thank you to Doctor Who. And thank you to this wonderful wind that's been rattling the window throughout this entire episode. Oh, and just so you guys know, we've had to reschedule the interview with Scarlett for Thursday, so that episode will likely be coming out Thursday night or Friday morning. Thank you all for tuning in. Good night.